Tragedy at 5 on Easter Sunday. A series of explosions leave hundreds of people dead and many more wounded in Sri Lanka. Good evening. I'm Brian Hackney.
And I'm Juliette Goodrich. Here is what we know right now. A total of 8 bombs went off in Sri Lanka at 3 churches and 3 luxury hotels. 207 people are confirmed dead and about 450 are wounded. According to the State Department, several U.S. citizens were among those killed. Authorities say they have blocked social media sites nationwide in part to limit the spread of false information. More now from CBS reporter Mola Lenghi.
After the massive Easter Sunday attacks in Sri Lanka killed more than 200 people, authorities tightened security around houses of worship in the U.S. The explosions ripped through 3 Catholic churches as worshippers celebrated morning mass. They also hit luxury hotels.
We must also look into why adequate precautions were not taken in this respect. But first and foremost, we have to ensure that terrorism does not lift its head in Sri Lanka.
Officials say the coordinated attacks were carried out by a single group that has not been identified. More than a dozen suspects were being held in connection with the suicide bombings. Sri Lanka shut down social media and imposed a curfew in the capital, Colombo, after the attacks. The country is still recovering from a long and bloody civil war.
During the 30 years of civil war, we had lots of explosions in Colombo. We are used to our airport getting blown up and the central banks, things like that. But it's been 10 years of peace, and we got used to that.
Officials say a few dozen foreigners, including several Americans, are among the dead. Around the world, leaders condemned the latest act of large-scale terror. At the end of his traditional Easter Sunday blessing, Pope Francis denounced the violence and said he prays for the victims. Mola Lenghi, CBS News.
People in the Bay Area are reacting to the attacks. Worshippers observed a moment of silence as they attended Easter services at Grace Cathedral in San Francisco. Many heard about the attacks just as they were beginning their day.
To go somewhere expecting brotherhood and togetherness, and then just to be destroyed like that is, yeah, it was horror.
It breaks your heart, and nothing stops it doing that. But gathering together with others who are also heartbroken and yet also hopeful makes all the difference, and the ability to carry on.
As you heard from Mola Lenghi a moment ago, Pope Francis denounced what he called the cruel violence in Sri Lanka. He said that he prayed for the injured and, quote, all those who are suffering as a result of this dramatic event. Senator Kamala Harris wrote, Easter is a reminder that there is hope and rebirth, even in the darkest of times. We must remember that today, more than ever. I am horrified by the attacks in Sri Lanka, where so many families were celebrating such a joyous day, praying for the victims and their loved ones. And House Speaker Nancy Pelosi wrote today's heartbreaking attacks in Sri Lanka comes as the country has worked hard to build a common future after years of war. Our thoughts are with the injured and the families of those people killed in today's Easter Sunday attack.